I just laid these out to see where I want to get that line. It's a very defining line and it has to go right on the top of the exhaust stacks. Did the little gas cap too.
The next thing I want to try to simulate is this little gap in the sheet metal, because this is where the exhaust, and I need the exhaust. I'm laying it out and I'm going to blacken this in with ink just so when I do attach them I don't wind up with, you know, these look like they're growing on the outside like plants or something. They're supposed to be coming from the engine outside the skin of the plane.
What I did, I measured these out, got the spot that I want to use, and I took the circle template, decided which side was going to be thick enough, and I just need to get 1/4 of this circle in there. And what I need to do is connect those two lines and fill in these two corners, and that'll be my blackout area. Now I can just fill that area in with ink. Now if you cross the larger circles with the thicker lines with a thin line, it looks a whole lot more realistic, a lot more like a real Zeus fitting would. Anyway, that's about all we're going to have time to do today. Pick this up in the next session. We should be able to finish the ink. 6 days into this already. And some letrosets. Some of the dedicated letrosets, there's not many that go on here, but there are some. We'll get that done and this will be ready for the clear. So I hope you're picking up some little tips, some little ideas. About at this point that you really can see it coming down the home stretch. Gas cap came out nice too. I was happy with that. Okay, today I just got back from the art supply store. This is day 7 of this. And I gotta tell you, this has been the shock of my life. This is the place where I buy all the letrosets, and I always like to, if possible, rule 1 with letrosets, try to use new ones instead of old ones. These used to be about $6 a piece, then they went to $9, they went to $12, almost $17 a sheet. 2 sheets of letroset, $35. Give you an idea of what a bargain Tom Lay letrosets really are. Anyway, what I'm trying to do is look over the plane. There's not a whole lot of letrosetting to do, but the little that you want to do very accurately, very, well, in this case I want to do it prototypically. So there's no point in belaboring this. We just have to write the check here, use the Visa card or whatever. A couple little tips on using letroset wherever you're going to use them. You want to take a Q-tip, little M600, and get any fingerprints off. That seems to help a whole lot. You also want to lay a piece of tape out, and obviously I'll show this, and try to keep everything in a sensible way. In other words, I try to lay it out in such a way that, like for instance, the pilot's name is by the cockpit. Some of these things on a real Spitfire, they say walkway forward. They're kind of like in British lingo. Well, it's nice if you're using as prototypical of a way of doing it as possible. I just feel like that's one of the things that's worth spending a little time. So I'm going to get out my books. I have the 2 other planes to look at and get an idea of how I want to lay this out. Now on a real late model Spitfire, they had the walkway forward right over where the gear retract. They also had some of the things like not to be walked on, the glycol fill, the main, the auxiliary, pilot's name, and some lettering up around a fuel tank. Again, it's not, if there's any nose art, of course we don't have a nose art, we have that tiger. By the way, I was looking at books in Barnes & Noble the other day, and they have a book with all the B29 nose art. It's in one book. It must be 500 pages and has about 20 on each page, and one of the neatest books I've ever seen. Then I looked at the price, $79.95. So needless to say, I didn't buy it. What I try to do, of course, is use fresh letter sets, and I try to get black and white, of course, two different colors to match the two different colors of inking for all the detailing purposes. And again, most importantly, the most important single thing here is to absolutely try to get the lettering to look as prototypical as possible, that it just isn't just randomly all over the place. Just worth mentioning, this was Ski Dombrowski's concourse winner in '86, I believe. It's how prototypical and how neat the lettering was, how neat the dashboard was. Everything about this plane was really, really well done. This is probably would get my vote for one of them, maybe the nicest model ever made. Now I just wanted to show this real quickly because this was my concourse winner in '85, and this is a good lesson in how not to do ink lines. Now see how phony it looks? To me it looks like a bunch of shoe boxes or something here. Now as I look back years later, boy, I really didn't have this well thought out. I mean, nothing about this says prototypical. But hey, this is how you upgrade your modeling skills, by trying to pick up on what seems to, and look right on the next page, of course, as if to rub it in, is Ski's plane. Totally prototypical. So anyway, but it's still a matter of taste, how many letter sets you put on, where you put them. It's really one way you can become the artist or create your own little, even this, I remember Ski said he had these letter sets custom made to match the trim on a plane. When I was at his house, he was showing me little details of this plane. Absolutely beautiful. That is a nice nose, a lot of prototypical lettering. That's absolutely beautiful. Let's go over there and get some letter sets laid out on that guy. Suggestion when you're doing letter sets, I don't know what that's doing in here. Keep everything. These are some things that Frank McMillan passed on to me to try. I keep everything in one area. These are letter sets that are available from, I think, from Bob Violet. They're kind of jet oriented, so we can't use them, but I save all my lettering templates. Here's the main thing, is I save all the old. Here's just an example of one that's already been used up, because there may be a time when I need an A, a B, an O, an A, and you always run out of one letter first. So I always try to save all of these. I used to have them in nice envelopes until, we won't mention any names, somebody borrowed them. But you can see over the years, just get some idea of how many I've saved. I got a letter set tool, which I really don't even like to use. I like a ballpoint pen better. But I have a lot of different styles from all the years of doing this. Probably $1,000 worth of this stuff in here. Now that they're so expensive, you really don't want to throw even one away. But again, any little amounts you have, a lot of people like to cut the sheets in parts, easier to handle. Save all the different colors. They make lots of different colors. And just by having these, but the problem is, even though I have plenty of these, and I saved decal one time, even though I don't use any decals anymore, I used to save all the decals from all these projects. The thing is, if you're using up old letter sets, you always wind up having to press twice as hard, and sometimes you put dents in the plane. So I like to buy new ones each year. Maybe that's going to change now that they're probably by next year they'll be $100 a sheet. This was one of the examples of something that I had to buy special letter sets for, just because I wanted to kind of match the lettering from the real Red Baron. But again, so many choices. There's thousands of kind of letter sets, relatively easy to lay out and use. And I think the biggest thing you can do to make a problem for yourself is to try to use up old ones where you have to press, and then you have these dents, which people in the stun event call letter dents. And it really can be annoying when you go to buff the plane, that you'll always see the reflection in that little divot in the paint. So with that, let me get those two brand new sheets out and start laying out my lettering. I laid the first one out, You can use an ink line. I like to use a piece of tape.